Welcome back to I Am Athlete. Tonight, I'm your host, Lee J. Doosable, with my guys, LaShawn Shady McCoy and Brandon Flowers. And I'm excited about our next guest, man. Played 15 years in the NFL as an outside linebacker and defensive end, was a two-time first-team All-Pro and five-time Pro Bowl selection. Should have been more, because in 2008, he had 16 and a half sacks, and the fans didn't vote him into the Pro Bowl, which is egregious, and will be a future Hall of Famer, hopefully sooner rather than later. Welcome to I Am Athlete tonight. My guy, John Abraham. John, what's good?
What's going on, Bo?
Can't complain, man. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. If you look at guys like yourself, 133 and a half sacks, DeMarcus Ware, Jared Allen, I believe Jared Allen has 136. DeMarcus Ware has 138 and a half sacks. Why isn't there enough respect on guys that can affect the quarterback and get to the quarterback? And why aren't guys like you and DeMarcus Ware and Jared Allen first team ballot Hall of Famers?
Well, I know for me personally, it's all about the accolades I've never received. First of all, I think we spoke about it. You know, I have no championships. And for me personally, I had no MVPs of the league. I never led the league in sacks. Now, my consistency was there. But if you take out, like I tell people all the time, if I would have played those 40-some games I missed, my numbers would have been crazy. And just to say that the guy is a possible Hall of Famer with the 133 and a half is ridiculous. You know, if you think about it, like this guy, he missed football. He missed 3 years of football.
Correct.
And you're still saying he's possibly a Hall of Famer. So for me, you know, like it's kind of like not trying to say I did the stuff like Gale Sayers did, but, you know, Gale Sayers, he got hurt, but they still put him in because he killed the league when he came in. And it was like, if he would have played the rest of his career, it's even like Barry Sanders. Those guys did.
Yeah, Jim Brown, all those guys.
Yeah. So, you know, for my thing is just if you take those games that I missed, it wouldn't have been an option. You know, it wouldn't have been an option at all. You know, saying that I'm like fourth in calls, fumbles, 13?
I think you're third actually at 47 forced fumbles.
Yeah, something like that. You know, numbers game. You know, a lot of times. I know for me personally, I wasn't a media guy. You know, I didn't do as much in the media because of when I was with New York. I tried to do the media thing, and then, like I said, I got in a little incident, and back in the day, the media was shunned. Like we didn't mess with the media. We didn't try to hang out with them. We didn't want to be around them. But now we have more football players in media now. We have more people that played the game, and they're showing more. Like even Shady now, you hear how he talks a lot more about football because they know more about football. I think they got that from basketball. A lot of the basketball guys started being in media, and now the football guys are now. So you got people who really know people who played and people who really were scary and people that you had to circle. You know, I know for a fact what I heard mostly, like John, whenever we played you, we made sure we circled your name. And being in the league, you know that. Like with certain players, you just circle their name. Like you can have a whole team, you like, these are the guys we got to stop. And that's certain things that I think they should put in the aspect of the game too, and the aspect of watching players play and how they came up.
Go ahead, B-Flow.
So, John, I want to ask you this, right? So I feel like you should be in the Hall of Fame. You're the dog from day one, right? And for pass rushers, it's kind of similar to corners, right? Like for me, if I play in the zone scheme, I had a lot of picks, right? But if I'm in a man scheme, I have a lot of pass breakups. Do you feel like they should add a stat in there where it's like QB hurries or QB pressures? Because you got 130 plus sacks, but it seemed like you was back there every play. So that can also misconstrue how dominant you was on that field.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an aspect that we don't look at. But I think mostly if they look at the career in the area of time, if you look at from 2000, when they really weren't like the doubles, they gave us half sacks instead of whole sacks. Yeah. So you got to realize a lot of stuff that they don't see that it happened. And also, like I said, the games I missed, bro. Like, I don't think people understand. Like when I was leading the league, I got hurt, you know, things like that. And to say consistently in 14 years to get 10 sacks a year. I had 1 year without injury that I didn't have double-digit sacks. So there's a lot of things that we don't put into it. I think they don't do enough research, or they don't do enough, like, really see what the player did to make him that. Like, go talk to some players that played against this guy. Was this guy scary? Did this guy change the game? Was he a game changer? And the numbers that I put up, like I said, for me, they're like average because I think about all the stuff I didn't do. But I definitely think that what you're saying, like a lot of cornerbacks, you playing in zone or you playing man to man, you might not get the picks like you want to. But also, this guy never scores on it. Like, check out those numbers there, and I think it'll definitely change how the perspective of how the Hall of Fame is. And also, like I said, you got to go by year from year. If you look from 2000, the guys that came in 2000, the year I came in, I was probably much the best defensive player besides Urlacher. If you look at the stats on that, like if you just take out like the years in between, because Pep came in the league, Jared Allen came in the league, and all that time I was consistent.
Yeah.
Just being a consistent player all that time. Now I can understand why they say he might not deserve the Hall of Fame, but also look at the people that I passed and look at the people that are above me, and they're definitely going to be in there. Like my last year, I needed 8 sacks to be in the top 5. I had 15 games ago. I got hurt that first year. So I lost those 15 games. So that's when I tell you about the depression was so strong on me because I knew I needed to put some more numbers up to get to be solidified. So for me, it was really tough. And I didn't even think about numbers when I first got in the league. Like I didn't think about numbers till I got to 100. And I was the 25th player in league history to get to 100. So when I realized, I'm 25th in the entire league ever doing it. Like, yeah, I was like, I said, let me start paying attention to my numbers. And, then you start thinking about numbers and stuff like that. But that's not why I played the game. I played the game to try to be a force.
Go ahead, Shady. You muted, Shady.
John, now I played against you when you were older, and you still was a beast. You talk about circling a guy on defense, and I'm a young cat. I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy, and he was older, and he still was balling. So you spoke about Sirius. Now, I'm a big fan of him. So he's always in my top 5. If I list my top 5 running backs, he's in there. I would ask you from the top pass rushers in the game, who would give me your top 5 of all time, your list?
Top 5, that's probably easy, man. Bruce Smith, Reggie White. Got to give LT that. I loved, and I got to slide Von Miller in there. There are a lot of guys, man. I like Von Miller because I understand if he never got hurt. People don't understand, like he's 110 plus, like, and just riding, like just giving it, and it seems so fluent how he plays. So I love to watch him play. And I got to give Aaron Donald. Like now, he just came and changed the game as a D tackle. If you watch how he plays, he's different. Like he's different. Like he's definitely put his name in a category no one can touch.
Man. This is I Am Athlete Tonight. I'm your host, Lee J. Doosable, with my guys, LaShawn Shady McCoy and Brandon Flowers. And we're talking to John Abraham, former outside linebacker defensive end, who was a 2-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl selection, and should be in the Hall of Fame. I know we kind of talked about this off camera, right, when I called you. And I wanted to ask you this question so you can give everybody an answer, right? If the Hall of Fame is such an individual achievement, why is there such a big emphasis on if a guy has a ring or not?
It looks better. You know what it is? Like everything that looks good on paper don't look good to people. Now, if you see somebody got 3 MVPs, he got 3 rings, yada, yada, yada. Like I was telling somebody the other day, I said, man, if I got 1 Super Bowl balled out, wouldn't have been an issue. I would have had that 1 Super Bowl, 3 sacks, yada, yada, yada. It wouldn't have been even a second thought on, does this guy deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? He helped them win a ring, yada, yada, yada. Like you can't control the team you go on. You can be on a great team. You can have great players around you. But at the end of the day, it is a statistical thing. And it is to show like what you do. But I definitely think that having those accolades that you can't really control, like you can have a great career. Like, people say, oh, John, I had to sit back and literally look at my career afterwards to see that I had a good career. Because me personally, because I think all of us have a big goal in our mind of ourselves. So when we're playing the game, we don't really think about it at the time. Like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. We're just playing the game. And then you get older, like Shady said, you get older, that's when you start thinking about, damn, like my career is almost on the back end. I got to start doing extra stuff. I got to start doing this. Because me, I wasn't really a selfish guy when I played. I kind of wanted my other teammates to get in the game. Now, if I had the mentality that I have now, I would have stayed in a lot of those games and got some extra sacks here or, made a couple tackles here and there. But I definitely think the accolades just look good because it seems like it's a personal thing, but it's definitely a team thing too. Because you see a lot of teams that have won Super Bowls, you see 4 or 5 people make it to the Hall of Fame from those teams.
Yeah. But this is why I say, and I'm going to throw it to Beef Flow next. This is why I would say to push back on that, right? Because I started this interview with you. I was talking about DeMarcus Lawrence, right? He's right above you. I think he has 138.5 sacks. He has a ring, and he didn't get in first ballot, which I thought was egregious. So that's why I asked you, do you think there's some slight disrespect when it comes to pass rushers as far as guys that can affect the quarterback? Because to me, the game is run by passers and pass rushers, right? Guys that can throw the ball, put up a lot of yards, and guys that can affect those guys throwing the ball. And you did it at a high level. Again, 13th all time in NFL history with 133.5 sacks, third in NFL history with 47 forced fumbles. Those are game-changing plays. So why do you think the voters, right, of the media don't put as much respect on guys like you, Jared Allen, and DeMarcus Ware?
I think they love the positions that get the scores. You know what I mean? They love the action figures. You know what I mean? They want to see the guys that we see. Like I said, the media loves to feed into this guy's a winner, this guy's a winner, this guy's a winner. And they love to see that stuff like that. When you see a guy that has the winning. In D-line has never been until now. We're finally getting paid like that. Like the receivers are getting paid like that now. Like they always put so much attribute on the quarterbacks. Even the running backs, they felt like that was the core of the team. Now they're seeing that defensive line. You're seeing that the receivers deserve $20 million because they're catching the ball 5 yards and taking it to the house. Like, not saying the quarterbacks ain't doing their thing, but I think they're definitely not looking at the D-line as important as it is, especially when it's the core of the team. And when you can go get a guy that single-handedly can change a whole game, that's a different type criteria that media don't really look at like that. I think they're doing a better job now, like with TJ Watt and even the Watt brothers and a lot of the young guys. They're starting to see that defensive linemen are hard to get by.
Yeah. So, John, earlier in the interview, right, you said when you missed those 8 games, you was depressed a little bit. And I know you had a couple of concussions when you played. I had 7 of them, right? When you watch the game today, seeing Tua with when you see Tua with his concussion, do you think in the game they can kind of protect players from getting concussions, or you think that's just part of the game and players should just have a safety net on the effects after they get a concussion or necessary measures they need to take once they get them?
I can honestly say, man, I still have my old school mentality. And even like I told someone the other day, they was like, John, how many concussions you had? I said, I will never know. I said, if you think about like how a boxer has they have the mask on when they're playing, or because they talk about how, now on practices, they wear the things on their helmets to protect their head and stuff. I was like, my bull rush was strictly my head into that person's chest. Like my hands here, my head was, so I got so many concussions, but a regular boxer has 10 seconds. Or a count of 10 to get back up. We had like 30 to 45 seconds. So on D-line, I was fine. So I have that same mentality now. So when I see people like Tua that don't get hit, quarterbacks don't get hit. So whenever they get a small thing like that, it end up being big. Even with receivers too, maybe even cornerbacks. You see, y'all might have the worst concussions because y'all don't hit every day. I think we trained ourselves, and I think, big dude, you understand what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
we hit so much that our brain is trained differently. So I think it's a little tough. I'm not saying it's okay because I'm messed up. I know I'm messed up now. Like I forget stuff, and this could have been going on for my whole career because I've walked through concussions. Like, back in the day, they called them stingers.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you only got a stinger. So when I seen the Tua thing, the first one, they was like it was his back. I said they trying to play it off like it's a stinger or something. Because back in the day, he got a stinger or something. I don't know where I'm at right now. Then I go back in. Or after a play, if I got dinged up, I would stay in the game and try to catch my focus back. So I don't think they'll ever really legitimately stop those. Like it's going to happen in football because that's a part of the game. The rational thing for them to do, everybody knew the first concussion, they should have took them out. The second one was on them. And also it's hard to tell a player, especially when Tua's playing this well, to tell him, okay, you got to come out now because you're concussed. We're gonna do all we can to stay in that game because you don't want your career to end from a concussion like I did. Like they told me I was bleeding on both sides of my brain. Like, John, you ain't playing no more. This 15 years of doing this thing, this 15 years of fighting through all this stuff and forgetting stuff. I couldn't forget football though. Yeah. Like the whole time I played, I can't, bro. Even now, if you put me on the football field, I still know my moves. I mean, I think that's all of us. I think because we've been trained to do that. So no matter, like, I might not remember where I stay sometimes. I might not remember where I put my wallet or this, that, and this, but it's something that you have a different passion for, especially when you have that hunger to be a certain type player or a certain type, individual when you're done with the game.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Shady.
That was some real insight right there. Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I just want to ask one more question about the Hall of Fame because I think you deserve to be there. Like I played against you, I watched you on tape. You was a beast. You was a dog. And you have the numbers. What about, because a lot of players that are trying to get in the Hall of Fame, they speak about just the writers that vote us in. Do you think it's something that maybe the NFL should do where they should have like certain players, right, get different votes? Because I think that matters. How you feel about that?
I think what you said hit it dead on the head. I think if you take like I was from there 2000 to 2014. I think you should get players who played from 2000 to 2014 and to speak on whether that guy deserves to be in there. Because the players that played against that guy or played with that guy should have more reputation or more credibility than someone who watched that person play. Like if I watched your career, I said, okay, well, Shady did this, Shady this. Yeah, I think he had, like for the years he played, he dominated. I think he deserves it. So if you look for me from 2000 to 2014, was I a dominant force? And I ain't saying that, I was the best from 2000 to 2014, but if you put the regime from every year to going in and this guy was capable for any year to be good enough to make it. And like I said, even y'all see the numbers, like people who played the game understand. People that watch the game, they understand what they understand. Well, he didn't win this, he didn't do this, he didn't do this. But how controlling was this guy of a game? How controlling was this guy of a team? How did he make it different every year? And like I said, I did 15. The only really bad years I had was my last year and the years I got hurt. Besides that, I'm good. And I really think they should do something more like that. Like take the people that was drafted in that class. Pick one person out of my class and see who was there. Pick two people out of the class.
That's a good one right there.
Or something like that. No, I'm serious, because you think about it, like, what class was you in, man? I can't remember.
Shady, you were 09, right?
I was 09, yeah.
So let's say the people from your class was to come in and be like, they look and they be like, man, you look at this whole class of these 100-some people, 200-some people got drafted. Who you think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I think that should lean a little more, just a little help. I ain't saying like you got to get a big vote, but that should at least be one vote out of that class. Like a one big vote, like, okay, the writers got to vote, they got to vote, they got to vote. People from that class or the people that have made it in the Hall of Fame from that class should have something to say. I think the people in the Hall of Fame should have more to say on who's in the Hall of Fame also. Like if these guys are here, like I feel comfortable with this guy being here. This guy, maybe not so much. Because you see how Kevin Green, it took him forever to get in. And we was like, Kevin Green, he had 160. And, like, so it's a strange thing if you don't have the rapport with the media or if they don't like a certain aspect of how you were off the field or even on the field. It shouldn't matter on how you played. Was this guy feared? Did he change the game? I mean, was he a guy that you could depend on when he was in the game? Like, so there's a lot of things that, like you said, the guys you got to circle are the guys you got to worry about. Or if you want to change the Hall of Fame, you got to put people that have changed the game and put them in a top tier. Give them a red gold jacket or something. Like if you want, like we got these guys that barely made it. We got the first teams, we got the second teams. We got I don't know how exactly how you're gonna do it because everybody measures up different.
No, I agree with that because like it's so many players that's in the Hall of Fame that or I'm sorry, not in the Hall of Fame, but going to Hall of Fame. Where how's it that you picking these players just from like the voters? Like
crazy. You
got to have some type of NFL influence. I played against this guy. I seen him play. Our words should matter a little bit. Like a guy like Asante Samuels, similar to you, changed the game, got numbers. How is he not in the Hall of Fame?
That's him and John are ridiculous to me. It makes no sense.
Come on, bro.
And you know
You gotta have some players in there.
Yeah, it actually bothers me a little bit because, like, y'all don't understand how bad I was. Like, after football, like, I really felt like my career was trash. I was number 9 actually when I was done. Like, when I was number 9 when I was done. So, you know, and I wanted to get the top 5. I said, I know if I pass Strahan, they can't really throw all this trash about I didn't do this and I didn't do that. But every time I speak to an NFL player, I don't know if they're saying it just to blow smoke in my ass or whatever. They always be like, John, you deserve the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not hearing this from regular people that didn't play the game. Like, I hear this from regular people, but it's different when you hear it from, like, you hear it from your peers. Your peers are like, bro, oh, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like, there ain't no way you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And that's a respect that you can't get from, like, the media. Like, that's what really pushed me to talk about it more and say, yeah, John, you do deserve it. Like, you balled out. And then when I found out, like, I was number 4 in a category, I'm number 9 in one category, and I'm 13 in one category. I mean, to be in the top 5 in one category, 13 in one category, and in tackles for loss, I'm number 9. I'm like, that's a good spread. It wasn't like I was just sacking and just doing this. I was making a good compliment on every part of the game. Now, I ain't got no damn interceptions. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got one.
You got one, right?
I got one interception and a touchdown, so don't talk about that. That wasn't my job.
Nah, but Shady, you make a good point. I've had this discussion too. I think me and B-Flow had it when we did the show, I think by ourselves for a whole week. I think it should be made up of, you know, high value writers, right? Guys that have a lot of experience, but then also players that were good but aren't Hall of Fame eligible. Like guys that played at a pretty good level, but they'll never get into the Hall of Fame. Guys that got high football IQs. I think they should have an influence because the only thing is, if you make other Hall of Famers vote on it, people are worried they're going to vote their friends in. But if you got neutral guys, you know what I'm saying, Shady? If you got neutral guys that played, you know, 10 to 12 years that are good, but they're not good enough to get in the Hall of Fame, then you got some guys that have, you know, high acumen when it comes to football, high IQ. Have those guys mixed with, you know, some reputable writers and have that mixture. I think that will do it. Now we'll start seeing guys like John and DeMarcus Ware and Jared Allen. Because you talked about it, John. You said Lawrence Taylor was one of your top 5 rushers. You got more sacks than him.